Hey everybody, how you doing? It's John and Forrest here with the Boyd Real Estate Group, back with another monthly market update.
Yeah, we're in a different location today.
Mm-hmm.
We just did some training at our Coquitlam office, so we're here for now. So yeah, this is where we're in a
We're on
different...
a couch today.
Yeah, it's a little more comfortable here.
Cozy. I kind of like it, a little more relaxed.
They roll out the red carpet here in Coquitlam, eh?
Not a lot to report this month. It doesn't seem to be any real significant changes in the market as a whole. The only real change we could see is some of the municipalities in the Fraser Valley are seeing a bit of an uptick in sales, probably due to some of the pricing coming down out there for the most part, I would say.
The pricing, I think, yeah, in areas like Abbotsford and Langley, and I think the pricing's been hit pretty hard.
Especially out in Abbotsford, you're starting to see a lot of like new not new, but like fairly not too old one-bedroom condos selling, starting with a 2 in the high 290s and stuff like that. So these would have been in the 350s, high 3s,
even 4 or something.
Yeah, some of them when it was really hot out there. So it could be a bit of an uptick from prices coming down out there. It's also been an area where we haven't seen quite as much inventory in some sectors as we are seeing in places like Coquitlam and the Tri-Cities and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, it's pretty similar, very balanced.
Pretty similar. I mean, I think last month when we kind of gave the report on what we were seeing, we were sort of seeing things slow down a little bit. The war in Iran was there was a lot of uncertainty with that. There still remains to be uncertainty with that, and the energy crisis, which is kind of just beginning. We do think that obviously it's no secret that the longer this goes on, with the Strait of Hormuz being blockaded and oil being throttled, we're more likely to see higher prices, people pulling back, people putting off these big expenditures and all that kind of thing. So it's definitely a continuation of last month. I think the big thing to talk about, which I don't think actually is being talked about that much, is immigration levels, because obviously it was no secret, under the Trudeau administration over those years, and through the COVID years, there was a lot of immigration to Canada in general, and a lot of it was coming to BC and Ontario. That, combined with low rates and obviously a crazy bull market, fueled house price growth beyond belief. The opposite is happening now. We actually have a contracting population here in BC for the first time in a long time. So every year that goes by, we're actually less and less people are living here. We've got a record amount of rental supply coming to market, because the only thing developers can build now and launch and actually make work is rental.
Yeah, and to touch on the rental, I've seen quite a few projects, again out in the Fraser Valley mostly, but there are a lot of projects that have gone. They had the idea of pre-selling them as like end user condos, and some of them have turned completely into rental buildings, right?
Yeah.
So between what they're getting from the cities and the perks of doing so, it's just more cost efficient for them to build these rentals, and with like the record amount of actually unsold units sitting around for these developers. It just makes more sense that they can get the renters in. But on the flip side, the rental market has also taken a hit, right?
It's taken a huge hit, and I think falling rents is going to be a story for the next year or 2 or 3. When you've got no newcomers coming here, well, very few, and you've got less and less people coming here, to study, to start our life, all this kind of stuff, and the cost of living kind of scaring a lot of people away. It's like, I don't really see rents going up for quite a while. And this is obviously feeds into the whole investor market. We don't have an investor market anymore, and a big part of that is because rents are plummeting. Like, why would you buy a condo or a house or something, whatever, to rent out when you know that in 3 years' time you might have to take $500 less than you do now, and now's rent is not even that good.
A lot of the mom and pop investors are getting out of it.
They're either hanging on if they've got a unit they bought 10 years ago and they're just cash flowing and they're fine. They just let us kick the can down the road, whatever. But a lot of people are bleeding $800 a month on a condo.
And then on the flip side, with the new rental rules, it's like, it's kind of hard sometimes to find a buyer who wants to wait 3 to 4 months for completion, because you have to give this minimum 90 days notice. And depending on when the contract's written and when the subjects are removed, it'll be 4 months until you move in. Right? And with the prices kind of, they're not, I wouldn't say like falling, but if you've got 6 similar units in a condo, it doesn't take much for one person that wants to make a move really bad to take 30 grand less than the most recent sale, and all of a sudden it's resetting these prices. So Yeah,
it's stagnant.
It's stagnant.
It's stagnant, especially in the condo space, like you mentioned there, when you have a tower or a low-rise building where there's identical floor plans, all built 5 years ago, and they're all the same. They're literally all the same, just looking at different things from depending on where they are in the building, north, south, east, west, or whatever. But in terms of like housing, let's pivot to housing. And we all know the condo market's struggling, and we all know the developers are only building rentals. It's been a common theme we've been talking about for years now. It's not going to change for a long time.
No.
Immigration, the kind of the clampdown on immigration is set until the end of 2028. So this, I think personally, I don't know if you agree. We haven't even spoken about this, but I think okay, cool. I think this is pivotal to how everyone should be looking at real estate for the next 3 or 4 years. You have likely a shrinking or stagnant population growth in BC for the next 2.5 years, until the end of 2028 at a minimum. They may extend it past that, but until the end of 2028, these immigration levels are here, and it's affecting BC in a negative way in terms of population. You will not have rent growth. You likely won't have price growth at all.
No one's bringing money into the country.
No one's bringing money. I mean, we used to have a lot of offshore money from China. China's economy is dead, from what I hear. I don't really know exactly the ins and outs of it, but from what I understand, the gravy train of all the Asian money coming here has stopped. So we're kind of repairing this global market fueled by low interest rates and rapid immigration by doing the opposite. And obviously through that process, there's going to be a lot of pain. And the pain is coming in rent declines and price declines. Mm-hmm. So we're here, we're living it. It is what it is. It's the natural system working through itself. But if you are a seller, there really isn't any chance of price growth, in my opinion, until the end of that immigration cut down. And that's the end of 2028. And even after that, you've got, again, like we said multiple times, you've got a backlog of people that want to sell, have tried and failed, and will just hit the market in 2029 or 2030, whenever immigration ramps up again. And it's going to be the same old story. So I think we've been into this market now for this particular market for probably a year and a half now, a year maybe. But we were in a slow market before that. We've had prices basically declining bar a couple of bounces for 4 years now. I think everyone has to expect another 4 years of this.
Yeah, I keep coming back to this in my mind, but the only way that we're going to see any reasonable amount of price increase in almost any sector of the market is with lower interest rates and lower inventory. And I just can't see anything that's going to do that in the next 5 years. Potentially in the next 5 years, condos might actually rebound a little bit just due to the fact that they aren't building any. It's been the first time in 30 years that, this is out of our area, but in Toronto, that there hasn't been a new pre-sale project launched. First time in 30 years, not one new building, not one new complex launched in the Hamilton and Toronto area.
And I see that, so say it's like 2029, 2030, the government announces plans, okay, we're gonna ramp up immigration a little bit. We've been very low for a long time. We've kind of worked out our issues. Now we're gonna start, increasing the numbers a little bit. I can see towards the end of this decade where you do have more newcomers coming. They want to get into the market, start buying condos. We haven't built anything. We haven't launched anything now, so there's nothing new being built then. There's a little bit of a price uprise there. I do think single family, all the three sectors that we kind of look at, single family, townhomes, condos, I do think single family is the one that, just by nature of the fact that we're not building any new single family to any meaningful number.
And the single family that is being built is catering to pretty high net worth individuals. The building costs per square feet are so astronomical. Or we're building for density over purpose, right? So we're building fourplexes that kind of feel townhousey. You don't have much parking, no privacy.
Well, houses with two suites.
Suites. So it's like we're not purpose building anymore. It's built for either like a high net worth end user or for further density.
Yeah.
Right?
So I do think if you have that home on a larger lot, a nice home in a nice area, the prices are still down. The prices will probably come down a little bit more, but I don't really think that, just by nature of the fact that we have less and less people here every year right now in BC, I just don't see price increases coming until later this decade potentially, and even then it's kind of anyone's guess as to when.
I don't think there's gonna be anything dramatic. I think we're gonna continue to kind of slide a bit gradually to a point where people can see the affordability, and I think that's what we're seeing in the people going from townhouses to detached is like the spread keeps narrowing, and people are just seeing the value where if they bought not too, like, you know, in the last 5 to 6 years, they can get out of their townhouse without a loss, maybe even a small gain, and get into a detached. And by the time you offset the strata fees and stuff, it's really, you're not paying that much more. Especially if you have a suite or something to offset it too, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. And we've had a lot of wage growth, right? So a lot of people have had, like, they've gone from earning, I don't know, let's call it 80,000, now they're earning 100, right? So it's like, you know, you can borrow that extra 100,000, no problem. So yeah, so to go from a townhouse, like before I say, to a house with a suite, the numbers can be quite similar. I don't know about you, but like I'm seeing, you know, houses with suites or suite potential are really selling a lot faster than houses without as well. Like, I mean, I think if you've got a house where there's no suite able to be put in the home, you know, it's a standard 2-story layout, no real prospect for rental income there, I mean, it could be pretty slow. I don't think anything is going to really change. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I think it's just going to continue the way we're going. We're in an end user market where people make decisions based on their family needs, where they need to be, what space they need for their children and their in-laws or whatever it is. And that's going to be just really the story of the market for the next few years, I think. I mean, there's no investors anymore. There's no speculation. Development's dead. There's a whole rental construction market, but we're not a part of that. This is where we're at. And prices are kind of falling in line with that new paradigm. So, yeah, I feel like every time we do these videos, we just sort of kick the can down the road and just say, it's probably going to be longer than you think. And we've been saying this for like 3 years now, and it's like, here we are. But the reality is that's the truth. I mean, there are no fundamental pointers pointing towards any kind of price growth on the immediate horizon at all. So if you're selling right now, make the best decision you can. It could be that your home's worth less by the end of the year. Could be relatively flat. If you're buying, again, like you said before, if you're moving up, great opportunity. If you're getting into the market, great opportunity. The real hard market right now is downsizing, because you're left with this, okay, well, I want to downsize, I don't like my price, okay, but I want to get it done within the next year or 2 years. Well, this might be the most your home's worth right now. That's the reality. So unless you're prepared to wait 5, this could be it.
And that's the other thing too. It's like, I think you could wait 5 and say your home's worth 1.4 right now. It could be only worth 1.45 in 6 years.
That's highly likely. I think.
So it's like, it is waiting around for 5-6 years for that extra potential 50 grand worth it? Maybe.
Or you sell and you buy something at half price, you invest the shortfall in the markets, and you could make way more than that in stock increases.
And of course, like, even if your townhouse goes up, then it's like who knows, we might see a resurge in condos might jump back up a bit more, or townhouses might jump back up. I mean, it really depends on people's situation and what they're doing and where they're going and what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and as a closing thing, I think we'd say, I think we've become accustomed the last kind of 10-15 years in the Vancouver market, arguably since the year 2000, to see big jumps in pricing, which is abnormal on the historical, you know, bird's eye view of like where prices have gone. It's really only recently that we've seen these large, you know, increases in price and big declines and all that kind of thing, almost like a stock market type scenario. Before that, it was very much just like chugging along, going up a little bit, blah, 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 blah. I think we're going back to that. We're going back to the end user normal market. We're not going to see these 20%, 30% increases, 10% increase. I think single digit increases or declines are what we're going to be looking at for the foreseeable future, because we're just in a normal market again. There's nothing.
The speculation's gone. The hype is gone.
Yeah, it's just become a secondary thought now. Like whereas it used to be all in we talked about. So.
We'll be back next month.
This is it for now. We'll report back. I mean, for us, in terms of business, it has slowed down a little bit since a month or 2 ago. Some realtors seem to be doing quite a lot of business. It always comes in cycles, but it's not. I think I've recently taken on a couple of new first-time home buyers and like buyers that are buying kind of second properties and everything. And it's nice to see more younger people kind of getting involved in the market now. The price is more attractive, so that is a positive for sure. But like, we'll be back next month and we'll kind of give you an update on that, and we'll take it from there.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Bye.